And hello, Jets fans. I bet you weren't expecting to see me back again here today, but big news out of New York. The New York Jets, after hours after finding out that Zach Wilson was likely going to miss 2 to 4 weeks due to an injury with the PCL over the weekend, it is official. Joe Flacco is coming home. Play the music. Joe Flacco, of course, was the backup last year, played in 3 games for the Jets. And look, this was something I was very critical of the Jets during last season because I thought Joe Flacco did a nice job and was a good mentor for Sam Darnold. And I understood he didn't fit the system. I understood he wasn't exactly the best fit for this offense, but he was a veteran presence, and when he came in, did a very good job. And from what you heard from Sam, that he was a good mentor. So when you had a veteran quarterback and you let him go, you didn't replace him. And the reason I thought they weren't going to bring him back was because they were going to go Hoyer or Nick Mullins, guys who had played in the system, guys who were familiar. But according to Adam Schefter, they are trading an additional 6th-round pick to Philadelphia that can possibly be a 5th-round pick based on play time. I'm guessing if he plays more than 4 or 5 games potentially. But really, in the grand scheme of everything, they're not really giving up much. They already have a bunch of late picks on day 3 already, and you can always acquire more trading back. And you're just hoping for shots in the dark on day 3. And I give Joe Douglas credit. He did a good job finding players this year that can play. I apologize if the stream at the beginning was a little bit messy, but I wanted to get in here and tell you the breaking news. Jet fans, go into the chat. Tell me what you think. Are you happy Mighty Joe Flacco is back? Or are you disappointed? Was there someone else here? Now, I said earlier on the stream that I did earlier, I did not think this team was going to get Cam Newton. I didn't think he was a good fit. It didn't really make a lot of sense. And I was curious, and I actually didn't really consider Joe Flacco, but according to Rich Cimini, that they had interest in bringing him back in training camp, especially with the way the Eagles quarterback room was going. And I'm actually a little surprised the Eagles pulled the trigger here because Jalen Hurts has been struggling a bit there in Philadelphia. And to me, it was nice having Flacco as that backup. And it's nice because, look, does it make the Jets more watchable? No. Does it make the Jets a better football team? No. But at least you feel that they have finally a veteran quarterback and that this could be a good thing for Zach Wilson when he comes back because now you have a professional quarterback that's had success and won a Super Bowl in this league. He understands how to read defenses. He understands how to handle yourself. And having that veteran presence fits in some ways. Flacco's kind of similar to Zach Wilson because both of them, when they came in the league, especially Flacco, they both have incredible arms. They have big arms that can go down the field. And you hope Flacco can basically instill within Zach Wilson, hey, man, you don't have to throw the ball 50 yards to make a play every time. So I'm happy that he's back. I think it was a good move. They barely gave up anything. And this is, of course, breaking news from Adam Schefter. The New York Jets are once again trading a 5th-round pick. Basically, actually, it's a 6th-round pick, but can become a 5th-round pick conditionally depending on playing time. Bringing back Joe Flacco. Of course, this is a new coaching staff. But, of course, Joe Douglas did bring in Flacco, if you remember, last year. And once again, I was really surprised that they didn't bring back Flacco. Flacco, I thought, did a very good job filling in last year. And you can make some cases he played better than Darnold in the games that he was out there. So I'm really happy that they did this. It's funny because Flacco, too, is a reasonable contract. We kept hearing the Nick Foles rumors, I think, forever. And I think a lot of fans were saying, well, why don't they go just trade for Nick Foles? Why don't they go get Nick Foles? Why don't they go to get Nick Foles? And a part of me thinks it's the contract. Joe Douglas doesn't want to deal with that contract. And to me, I think that the Jets were just kind of hoping that if they really were interested in Nick Foles, he would be released and they could just sign him. But it turns out that they end up getting Joe Flacco, and it kind of stings a little bit because you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, they just traded a draft pick for a guy that was already in their building last year, and they could have easily just, resign him. But this works out great for Joe Flacco. Only has to go north on I-95 about 2 hours, maybe not even, depending on the traffic. So not a big move for him. Overall, I think this was a very smart and shrewd move by Joe Douglas, and it was needed to be made because you could not go into this week with Mike White as your quarterback. Mike White has never started an NFL game, and Zach Wilson was a rookie and had more experience in game than Mike White. In long term this season, I think it was going to be very important to get a veteran in here, especially these next couple games, because I actually think, and I was saying this earlier, to me, the silver lining of the Zach Wilson injury is the following, which is I actually think it can be a benefit for him because he's able to sit down, he's able to watch the game, he's able to learn. I mean, we knew he was going to start day one, but some of these rookies, they just need a break. And I think it's going to be good for him. It gives him a mental break. It lets him get healthy. And to me, the biggest thing is you can't rush Wilson back from this. You cannot put him on that field until he's 100% healthy. And this buys the Jets a little bit more time because you can't tell me. And look, I get it. The media is going to want Wilson back as soon as possible. I feel Flacco at least buys you a little bit more time because you cannot go into a football game with Mike White. You're basically raving the white flag. You're basically saying we have zero shot. And now at least with Joe Flacco, say we got a veteran quarterback. Maybe he could do something. Maybe he could make a play. Would love your reactions in the chat. Justin Jets. So the Jets let Flacco walk, then give up draft picks to bring him back. This team is run by clouds, and we should have resigned. I said that to start the video. That's the one thing about this is it's kind of comical, which is the Jets had him. They could have just resigned him, and they just let him go. I mean, it's comical that they had to give up draft capital to bring back Joe. But look, I'd rather have Joe Flacco here. And to me, this is also an admission by Joe Douglas. He's saying, look, I messed up. I made a mistake. I need to pay to fix my mistake. And he did that. So I give the Jets credit because there are general managers and there are people in front offices. Like when they make a bad move, they will basically never admit it. And this to me is Joe Douglas admitting, look, guys, I messed up. I should have brought in a veteran quarterback or at the very least just kept the one that we had. It just never made sense to me that you would let a veteran presence, a veteran quarterback, when you had a rookie quarterback. But the good news is Flacco comes back. I'll be interested to see what kind of plays they do. And I'll be interested to see how this offense runs through him because this will be very interesting. He's never been a big precision thrower, but he does have the arm to take shots down the field. I'm very curious to see how this offense runs through Joe Flacco. But overall, I think that this was a very good move. This was a smart move by this organization. And look, I get it as Jet fans. You're going, wait a minute. We had him, we let him go. I get that. But I would rather have Joe Douglas admit he made a mistake, trade a draft pick that's probably not super valuable, and basically at least give the Jets a shot on the weekend and at least give Zach a veteran quarterback. And I said earlier today that this market was going to be tough, and Flacco makes sense because the Eagles have Gardner Minshew now. It just made a lot of sense because Flacco was probably the most available quarterback on the market because I was saying earlier, a lot of these great teams, especially with the 17th game, the backup quarterbacks become more valuable. I mean, what team is trading? I mean, someone mentioned Mitch Trubisky, and I said the Bills are not going to trade Mitch Trubisky because they feel they can win a Super Bowl. And if let's say Josh Allen gets nicked up in a game and has to miss a game or two, you still feel that they could win a game or be competitive with Mitch Trubisky, where, teams like the Jets who don't have a good backup, it's like it almost feels like might as well not show up on Sunday because you don't have a shot to win. So that's the breaking news, of course. First reported by Adam Schefter. Joe Flacco is coming home to the New York Jets in a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. And look, just makes too much sense. Joe Douglas, where did he come from? Philadelphia. What organizations does he have ties to? Philadelphia. I guarantee you he made a call and basically said, like, look, can you guys help me out? And they said, look, you give us a draft pick, we'll make it conditional. If Flacco plays more than 4 or 5 games, it becomes a more valuable pick. I mean, it's likely going to be a 6th round pick. We haven't gotten all the language of what constitutes the pick, but either way, it gives a veteran quarterback in this room, and they have desperately needed. Don't tell me Josh Johnson's a veteran. Josh Johnson has been a journeyman. And look, Flacco has been a bit of a journeyman the last couple of years, but he's had success. He's had success. He's won a Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, how many quarterbacks in the league today can say that they were a Super Bowl MVP? So, good move by the Jets. A frustrating move because you're saying, well, why didn't we do this back in the offseason or give Joe Flacco a contract where it was deserved? And I felt he did a good job. He deserved to come back. And I actually was saying, like, look, they need to bring him back. If you're not going to go out there and get a different quarterback, at least bring Flacco back because it makes sense. The only reason it didn't make sense was because I felt that they were going to get a guy that fit the system or played in the system who could explain the verbiage to the rookie quarterback. But when they didn't get Nick Mullins, when this team didn't get Brian Hoyer, when this team didn't get one of those veterans that played in a West Coast system, it was like, really, Mike White? And it felt like the Josh Johnson signing, who's been on the practice squad. It almost felt like they were guilted into that because they were getting so much heat from people saying, why in God's name is there not a veteran quarterback on there? It's like, hey, we'll get Josh Johnson. He's been around the league a little bit. He's had a cup of coffee here. He's had a cup of coffee there. He's had a cup of coffee, but he never gets on the field to really play. And when he does, it's not pretty. But overall, very good move by the Jets. I mean, this is just bringing in a good veteran. To me, the biggest thing about this move isn't that Flacco is going to be starting for this team. It isn't that Joe Flacco isn't going to be the gap until Wilson comes back. To me, the biggest reason for this trade was having a veteran presence around Zach Wilson, having a veteran that can show him stuff, help him with film study, point out things in the film room that most people don't know, help him with reading cues on defenses. If he makes a mistake, coming to the sideline, breaking it down and saying, hey, this is what happened here. You were locking on this receiver. You didn't look off the safety on this play. So there is a lot to get into, but overall, would love to hear what you guys say in the comments. Are you happy that Joe Flacco's back in New York? Did you want a different veteran quarterback? Did you want Cam Newton? Would love to hear from you guys. But until next time, this is Nolan Rich. This is Rich Sports Talk. And once again, as first reported by Adam Schefter, the New York Jets are bringing Joe Flacco home, and he will be likely the starting quarterback this weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals.